Welcome back, everyone. In the last video, we learned what loops are and saw some examples of the for loop. Today, we'll explore a similar loop called the while loop. Just like for loop, while loop also lets your program repeat a block of code as long as a certain condition is true. This is a basic syntax of a while loop. 1. While, keyword that starts the loop. 2. A condition, if true, the block of code inside the loop is repeated. 3. The code block that runs each time the condition is true. Let's write the same program we showed in the for loop video, which calculates the sum of the first 10 numbers. Here, we need two int variables, one to store the sum result, as in our last program, and another current index to hold the current number being added. Next, we use a while loop with the condition current index is less than or equal to 10, which repeats the code inside the loop as long as current index is less than or equal to 10. Then we have the loop body, a code block that executes repeatedly as long as the while loop's condition remains true. Notice that, unlike a for loop, the while loop only evaluates the condition. All other tasks, like initializing the counter and updating it, must be handled manually. Finally, we write the result of sum on the console. Now, when I run the program, I can see the same result as we saw in our last video, sum of first 10 numbers. I'm using Visual Studio to show you how this while loop executes by debugging it. Don't worry about debugging for now. We'll cover it in detail later in this course. The yellow highlight indicates where your program is currently executing. When I press F10, the debugger advances to the next step. If we keep going, you can see the debugger looping through the while loop. Let's start the debugger again and analyze each variable's value as the program executes. Now, when the debugger hits line 8 and I hover over the current line, it shows result of sum as 0. Similarly for current index as 1. Now, when the debugger hits the while loop and I check current index, which is 1, the condition 1 is less than or equal to 10 evaluates to true, so execution enters the loop. Now, if I inspect result of sum, it's still 0 and current index is 1 at this point. After this line executes, result of sum becomes 1. Similarly, on the next line, current index is 1, but after execution it becomes 2 because we increment it by 1. Now, when I press F10, the debugger returns to the while loop because the loop condition is still true. Now, closely analyze all the values. Result of sum becomes 1 plus 2, which is 3, and current index, which is currently 2, becomes 3. This process repeats until current index becomes 11, which is greater than 10, causing the while loop to terminate. And here, the result is printed to the console. I strongly suggest that you write this code yourself and observe how the loops execute. It will help you understand how they work and improve your debugging skills. Use a for loop when you have a fixed number of iterations or are iterating over a range or an array by index. You want your loop control all in one place. Use a while loop when you're looping until a condition is met and you can't statically determine the count. You need to wait for external input or dynamic state changes. Example, while user hasn't typed exit.